am I?
You've the tea on board. No, that's the job. Chris Kent.
I've the tea on board, by. Always have the tea, by.
I just literally finished the tea and I went, well, I have another cup of tea now because Chris would be definitely on the tea.
Oh, I'd be drinking the tea, by. You can be fucking rest assured of that.
But I just, you can't. It's hard to go straight for two big mugs of tea in a row.
It is.
You know.
It is. Yeah. I used to be hardcore. I wouldn't go for two now in a row. Not anymore.
That's the age show now. Yeah.
I space them out now, like, yeah.
You're very welcome to the podcast. Back once again.
I know. In stranger times. I think the last time we did it, you called over to the apartment, didn't you? I was in the Laughter Lounge apartment, so back in those days of gigging. So
a lot of weird stuff has started changing since then and all the rest of it.
Absolutely, man. That's fucking crazy. Absolutely crazy.
You're home now, though, aren't you?
I'm back.
At least you're not in the UK. Like.
I'm not in the UK, but I was coming back regardless. This was a plan of mine.
This is the story. Like when I was thinking of you anyway. I don't know, how did I pop into your head? Remember I texted you the other day and you said, that's mad. You popped into my head this morning.
Yeah, I don't know, to be honest. I was actually thinking of the podcast that we did. I don't know why. I've been reminiscing about gigs and stuff. And the odd time I would start thinking about shows, and then I start thinking about the Laughter Lounge, and I was thinking about the apartment. And then I was like, oh, I remember doing a podcast with Tom in the apartment. So it was kind of a whole trail of thoughts, But yeah,
so
and then you texted me. You texted me then a couple of minutes later.
That's unreal. But the universe, I'm telling you, the universe is there's something strange happening. I reckon if there's something lining up every so often, maybe it could be utter fucking coincidence too.
I should have thought of Joe Rogan. So
I was just gonna say, what were you doing thinking of this fucker? Like?
Fuck that cunt. No, fuck Joe Rogan. Much better than Joe Rogan. I don't know.
Yes, Joe Rogan doesn't know that Patrick's Street's called Pana. He doesn't know that.
He doesn't know that.
I often think, like, you know what I mean? The roundabout way, if you ended up on Joe Rogan, the fucking explanation you'd have to do for every single thing you say. Because at the end of the day, he's a Yank, like. And you'd have to explain every fucking thing. You would, yeah. He was a bad choice there, actually, because I don't know his fucking podcast at all. I don't know why I think he just popped into my head as a joke because he's whatever. He sold it to. I know he sold his fucking podcast for millions to someone. Spotify or something, is it? Yeah, Spotify, I think, gave him 100 million for the podcast. It's all right, isn't it?
It's all right. Yeah. It's all right, not bad.
Because there was talks that a load of kind of left-leaning people working for Spotify were going to walk out. We're going to walk out because if he wasn't going to be censored some which way, like. Oh, really? And it was like, can you imagine that conversation with the boss after you just paid, and you're on maybe 32,000 a year, like, and you just paid 100 million for Joe Rogan, and in comes, Kieran with his issue here. This fucking Rogan fella's a scandal. I'm walking. If I
see you, Kieran. Good luck. Good luck.
Good luck, Kieran.
Enjoy the walk.
Don't let the door hit you on the arse on the way out. Yeah. So what has brought, like, the timeline? Because I remember reading, because I go back, not that there's a cycle of people. There's one-offs. There's people they'll never be back on. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. People that I don't know, and it was grand to get their story, but there's always be mates that are back on. And I knew you were back around. And then again, it was like you put up a status because you're not really one for social media, like, at all.
I'm not. You're right there, Tom. I'm absolutely not. And you're not the first one to point it out to me.
No, you're dead right. You're dead right.
Yeah.
So what's the point? Like, if you don't have to be, man.
Absolutely, yeah. I wish I was better at it, but yeah. So I put up a status about my situation, I suppose. All of our situations to an extent. I just wanted to clear the air, like, and tell everyone what I was at in one post, So
you put in a month since fucking stories.
Yeah.
Fuck it. I'll just wait till it's all together and just fucking package it that way.
Yeah. I kind of felt like things have come full circle for me. To be honest, completely full circle. Like, this time 15 years ago, I was working as an electrician and I was doing gigs random gigs to hardly anyone. And, you know, I know the gigs are gone again now, but
Wait,
before Christmas,
did you
I was
say you were a magician?
yeah,
Did
yeah,
you?
exactly. I wish.
That's
No,
sorry, that's
I'd
an
be
in joke for anybody who knows Chris well.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, so I've come full circle, man. I'm back doing the sparking, and my comedy is a hobby, I suppose. You know, I'm waiting for it to pick up again. But before Christmas, there, I was working as a Sparks, and I was opening for Neil Delamere. He had a few gigs around the country, and there was 15 people max at them, and that's almost exactly what I was doing 15 years ago. I was working as an electrician
Wow.
and gigging to very few people around the country, like, you know. So it was kind of funny. Kind of funny, like. I mean, I've changed a lot. I'm married and I have kids, but I'm essentially in the same place, you know.
But hey, when you're out for the right, take it. Take it.
Mm.
You're fucking lucky to have it to fall back on, or at least
Exactly.
You know?
The punchline to that bit was take it, take it, take it, because I lost my job as an electrician 15 years ago, around that time, and the punchline was take it, because you'll never be out of work. And here I am, and now I'm back doing it, like, you know. And I did that material for a while, and he was right. He was right. I'll never be out of work, because if I didn't have it, I imagine I'd be struggling more now. I'd do something. I was willing to do most jobs. So, but it was 100% as fucking terrifying as it was to fall back on. It was, you know, 12 years out of work, like 12 years off a building site, and just walking back onto a building site with, you know,
we'll
fucking.
get we'll get into. I want to quiz you a bit more on that. But Ted, give us the timeline then, because the last time we talked, you were fucking flying it to like you had a new show written and everything. Were you in Australia?
Was I in Australia? Yeah, I was in Australia at the beginning of the
Like,
year. I think the
yeah,
last
yeah.
time, I can't remember what we were doing. The last time we spoke, I don't know, was I heading out on this tour or was I heading out on the last tour? But
The
I
last
think
tour. It was the last tour. It
it
was
was the last
what was it?
tour.
You had a fire extinguisher on the poster. What was that one?
Oh no, no, fuck no. That was my first fucking ever fucking tour, I'd say.
No.
That was
What am I thinking?
um
So which one? It was the one before this one. This one was called Christy Doesn't Live Here, is it?
oh yeah, it was last year. It was looking up, yeah. It was looking up,
Looking Up.
and I was heading out on that tour, I think. Or it was, when did I meet you? It doesn't matter. I was in the Laughter and Jenny, so I clearly wasn't touring. I think that was just before Christmas, and I would have been touring after Christmas. So probably 2 years ago, was it, or was it more?
Oh, it is over 2 years ago. It is yeah, it is well over 2 years ago. Anyway, it is yeah, it is under 100. Yeah, we're on this is episode 171. So
Okay.
where you were down sub 100 on that one. So and I wouldn't get one out every week. So I think yeah, it's definitely over 2 years. Yeah.
Oh right. Yeah. So anyway, I was definitely heading out on some kind of tour anyway, and my plan was to build that, and I was building it, and successful enough at my own fucking, you know, pace, I suppose. I was happy
Yeah.
enough. I wasn't getting a massive break or anything, but the audiences were certainly coming back every year, and they were growing, and I was very happy with the organic growth of the whole fucking thing. And my plan was working. My long-term plan was working. That the tours were getting bigger, and the rooms were slightly
Yeah.
increasing as well. And you know, I was taking things out my bucket list, but you know, it came to a halt fairly drastically there. uh,
Fucking did.
but
But
I
you
was,
because your new show you were in Australia, but you were based out of St. Albans, and the plan was to come home anyway, was it?
yeah, I was coming home anyway. Yeah, we were all coming home. Basically, I was my tour was growing, and between the tour and the festivals that I do in Ireland and the odd club dates that I do in Ireland and the odd support, I was flying back from the UK an awful lot. I was flying back from the UK
Yeah.
loads. And then I was thinking to myself, why the fuck am I not just in Ireland? And because we kids know, like, you know, no support or anything
Yeah.
really. So childcare was always tricky over there. So I said, why not just fucking do it the other way around? Be based in Ireland and fly to England, whatever, I don't know, 20 times a year, something like that. Do the clubs that I like doing and continue to grow the Irish tour and maybe, you know, something else as well in the pipeline. But yeah, that was the plan anyway. We had this before any COVID or any shit like that. I was moving back like in January. We were planning it for a few months, and then in January we decided on Cork, and we were looking for places around Cork, and then shit happened, and then we just said fuck it, let's just keep going for it anyway, because we're in a better position in Ireland, And at this time we didn't fucking know like if things were going to pick up again or not, so we were just moving back to a bit of the unknown, really.
I like the idea that the whole plan was you're giving me this story, like, but the truth be told is that you just didn't want your kids growing up with English accents. That's all that was bothering you.
Well, they have, yeah. My son is 4, and there's a bit of a hybrid accent he had anyway, because we're Irish, obviously, me and my wife, and he had been talking in a kind of a hybrid, little bit of English, little bit of Irish, but. No, do you know what? It never actually bothered me too much. All jokes aside, their accent. But I did miss Ireland terribly. Like I just thought, oh God, I'd love to be at home. Every time I gigged in Dublin or Cork, or I did my little Irish tours, and I was back for a weekend on my own, I just really missed it. Like I thought, fucking hell, and I never thought I would really, because I lived just outside London, and I loved London as well, but. I just really missed Ireland, and I thought I want the UK to be. I don't really want to live there anymore. I just want, and I want to be a part of it, and I want to fly in and do my gigs, and I love gigging in London and all over the UK really. But as a place to live in there, I just thought I done my time there. I didn't feel like I was part of any clique over there. Do you know what I mean? I didn't feel like
yeah.
I had a few friends now, like Eleanor now I bump into every now and again, and Andrew Ryan, but I just never really felt like, there's no fucking, all my buddies, most of them are from Dublin, most of them aren't even comedians anyway. So I just always felt a small bit out of the loop over there, like, But,
I suppose, yeah, and sure, you've established yourself now over there too, like, so it's like, give me a call whenever you're, whenever you're looking for me, like.
Yeah, exactly. I got into my foot in the door of all the clubs I wanted to get into, and I was kind of a regular in most of the clubs, I think. I was regular in all the clubs, really. Besides the odd shit one that was run by a fucking comedian that wasn't, one of these fucking cunts that's like never been good enough, but sets up a club and is shockingly, but manages to have a half decent club and is like, hey, do you want to come up and try out for me? And I'm like, but I'm gigging in the Comedy Store in London, and I'm gigging in Manchester Comedy Store, and I'm gigging in all the big weekend gigs, the Glees, the Stands, I'm headlining. And why would I come up and fucking try out in your gig, fucking 200 miles from my house? And you wrangle them, and you get an old weekend out of them or whatever, and they're just dog shit, like, and they do a fucking gig, and they're always the guys with advice afterwards, like,
oh Christ, yeah.
I'll have a think about it. You were good, mate. I'll have a think about it, and I'm like, what fucking gig were you at? But I wish I had the balls of those lads, I fucking wish. I have nowhere near that confidence. Those lads are fucking maniacs.
I often wonder about that, like them fellas, like, do I want their level of confidence? Like, it's almost like we have a 16-month-old right now, and when he wants a thing, it's not, and he's not being rude, but he just kind of points at it, and he's like, and he just gives a grunt sound that kind of sounds like the thing, but there's no like, hey, I don't want to trouble you here. Would it be at all? It's not like, it's just straight out the gate. The fucking yoke. Like.
Yeah.
And them fellas are the same. They don't have that thing that we have, that most people have, which is called manners and fucking a normal human development.
Yes, and I think the reason they're probably like that is because their parents fetch the thing for them and always fetch the thing for them and never stop fetching the thing, even when they can fucking communicate and say, get the fucking thing yourself, you lazy cunt. So then they too much confidence and running comedy clubs and dying on their arse, but telling you, oh yeah, mate, I might have you back, and you're like, I had a great gig. I don't know what fucking, but Do you know what? It is a massive. And I was kind of leaning away from those gigs a little bit anyway, because as the tour was growing, but not that there's too many of them, by the way. I'm making it sound like comedy's fucking brutal, but there was a time.
Oh no,
where,
people want to hear this stuff. Like,
yeah, there was a time where I felt like I had to do every fucking gig under the sun to make a living. Comedy is like, yeah, it can have good days and it can have bad days. I can have months where I'm like, oh, I'm fucking properly on top there now. But you do a big gig like the Everyman in Cork, which would have been my biggest gig, and I was about to do Vicar Street, and they're big gigs, and it's like, yeah, it's fucking
yeah,
great. You're fucking a big payday, but what people don't realize is that you have a year's work going into it. You have to write a
yeah,
fucking
yeah.
show. It's not on stage for an hour at all. It's a year of writing a show and getting the show ready, doing previews for free, going up to Edinburgh for a month and potentially losing money or just breaking even for a whole month of work every single day until your fucking voice. Along the way, I felt like I needed to take every single fucking gig. And I remember about
Yeah.
last year or something, I took a gig as an open spot. And I was like, I shouldn't be fucking doing this at all. And I don't know why, but I just took it
No.
because the guy had loads of gigs, and I went up with a bunch of open spots, and a bunch of open spots, and Peter Flanagan was there as well, but he was trying to get his name, so he was decent. Obviously, Peter's a great comedian, but I fucking went up in the car with them, and I was there to Peter going, "What the fuck am I doing, man? Why the fuck am I in this car?" And every step of the process, I was like leaving my family, who are, you know, I'm there like at
Yeah.
fucking leaving before bath time to get into a car with 4 or 5 open spots, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I fucking done that. I'm doing this for 15 fucking years. And at that point, I was already after selling out the Everyman. I was already on telly. I was already fucking after doing loads of gigs, all the big weekend gigs, and still I took this fucking gig in, Derby or something it was, and I'm up and down the car and every step of it I went, what the fuck am I doing here? What the fuck am I doing here? And then in the petrol station on the way home, and I was like, what am I fucking doing here? What the fuck am I doing here? But the relief, no, I shouldn't have taken that gig regardless, right? I should have just said, get fucked. If you want me, pay me. That's it. I'm not fucking
Yeah.
around. But the relief now I mean, I'm off now again at the moment because the building sites are down, but the absolute fucking relief and the release of pressure having a day job again and being able to say, I can, I can,
Oh,
oh, I can now do whatever gig I want. I have absolutely no hesitation now in saying no to gigs, maybe even gigs that pay that I just don't want to do. I don't want to spend a month, or no, sorry, not a month. I don't want to spend a weekend there for that money and that gig that I never massively enjoyed. It was always a fucking challenge. Not in a good way.
yeah.
Like, it's just, some comedy clubs are not great. They're not built for comedy. They're just like, it's more of a piss up for the punters, and you're the cunt. You're just some fucker in the corner. Like, so I think I'm looking forward to that when the gigs come back, to go be a little bit more selective again and going, right, I'm going to focus on my Irish tour again, and all the gigs I love doing, I'm going to enjoy doing them and try and fill my diary with them. You know?
Isn't that a lovely, like, that's it. This is the positive dynamic that would come from this, like,
Oh yeah,
is
yeah,
that you can completely reassess the situation, go, exactly that. And for me, it's the exact fucking same. I was doing weird fucking gigs and stuff. I was going, what
yeah.
the fuck?
Yeah,
And
you
like you
take
said,
anything.
you're on the side of the motorway at 2 a.m. eating a cold sandwich, and you're going, this isn't
Yeah,
right at all, like,
yeah.
this isn't right. You know what I mean?
Mm. Fair enough if it's for a good gig. We've all done it. We've
Yeah,
all we've
yeah,
all
yeah.
been we've all been fucking driving home, getting into bed at 3 o'clock in the morning, but you've just done a fucking decent gig with brilliant comedians, and it's like that was fucking cracker, like. But then, yeah, it's the because we're all guilty of it. I think just saying, okay, we're afraid to offend someone by being a bit too polite and saying, yeah, I'll do it, yeah, I'll do it. You never know what it might lead to, or but I was a little bit too I was a little bit too fucking in comedy, to be quite honest. I was leaning heavily on it, like, I was. I left to take over my fucking life, like in every fucking sense. I was like,
Well, you're the definition of a comedian. Like, in fairness, like while you did the stuff with Telly and stuff like that, you were, or you are, because it is your identity. But like Chris Kent is fucking like, there's no going, Chris Kent. What did he do? No, everybody knows this. Like, whereas I've done the bit of act, because I don't know if I attention deficit disorder or something a touch of it, but like there'll be a period of like 3 months go by and I'm just doing nothing but 4 or 5 nights a week stand up.
yeah,
And I'll just start to have a fucking meltdown, like going, "Oh, this is
yeah,
absolutely." While I love it, I've just
yeah,
overloaded myself with it, and I'll
yeah,
get all tick and everything. And herself will say something. Herself, that's why I started back hunting and stuff like that, was just to
yeah,
go away, turn off the phone, and just go missing for a fucking day or so, like,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
into the wilderness, like, because I'd absolutely fucking drive myself through a wall for it after.
You would. I don't know what it is. I think there's pressure to pay the bills, right? And it's
Yeah,
not the most, unless you're at the top level. It's not the fucking best payer, right? And then alongside that pressure, there's the pressure to create, and there's the pressure to build a new show. Like I was doing a new show every year. I think I was on my seventh show or something like that, and
which is phenomenal, like.
it's good, and I was proud of it. Like, and after the first one, I thought, not a fucking chance. Am I going to do that again? Or be able? But then you just do it, and I love the process of it, to be honest, and I love doing it. But it still takes it out of you. It's like that's a fucking serious pressure there, man. It's like you're, I was in and out to London on Mondays and Tuesday nights with my little 5 minute bit, like or my new fucking, you're hanging so much on it, like, and
Yeah,
when I did it full time as well, Neve had a job, so I was minding the kids during the day, So I was minding the kids all day, which is a job in itself. And then when they napped,
yeah.
when Jack napped, or that was my little window, 2 hours of napping, and then I'd write for that time, or not write every day, like, or get everything I needed to get done, like, get your fucking admin or whatever you're writing, and then she comes in from work, and I'm like, oh, I'll see you later. I have to go to a gig. And looking back now, I was like, did I need to do every single one of those fucking gigs? Really? Did I? Um,
Yeah, I know, but at the same time, if you hadn't done them, you'd be
yeah,
having a fucking absolute mental crisis. You've come to
true,
a point now, and
true.
this pandemic has made us go, oh, hold on. Like, you're at a point you could not stand. You wouldn't have to do stand up for 2 years. Go back, and you're still Chris Kent, the stand up comedian. You know what I mean? You've
Yeah,
logged all that
yeah,
stuff. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
true. Yeah, no, that's true. And I guess the shitty gigs that we're talking about all build us in a way, but yeah, I'm looking forward to just being a bit more selective at the same time. And I went back and I did a few shows before Christmas with Neil, like 7 or 8 shows, 16 people in the audience,
yeah,
and they were so much fun. And I hadn't done it in months and months and months, but I just started talking, and I was like, "There's no pressure to be funny here now. Your
yeah,
paycheck isn't leaning on this anymore." You know what I mean? It was like, and in fairness, now, right? Even in comedy, when I was doing gigs, I never felt the pressure during the gig. I never went, fuck it, I better be good or I better do this. I was always more like, fuck it, I'll sneak in a fucking new bit, no matter where I was. I
yeah,
was like,
yeah,
I'll
yeah, yeah,
sneak in this
yeah.
fucking bit, fuck it, I'd rather die in my hole and come out with a new fucking 10 in the next couple of weeks rather than, But the pressure got to me when I was fucking doing my tax return or going, fuck me,
Oh, stop.
this money is so shit. Or when I was like, do you know when something went wrong with my car, like my car in England, it gave me so much trouble, and I was like, at one point I was like nearly fucking crying. I was like, I can't take any more of this. I don't have a financial fucking cushion at all. Anytime anything happens,
Yeah,
where your car is coming in and going, oh, I need another fucking £400 or whatever. That was creasing me, like, and then I was like, fuck, what the fuck, But
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
fucking hell. How have you been? Sorry, it's all one way here, like.
No, but that's listen. The people listen to this have listened to my fucking shite every week. So, and this has been a very good outlet doing this podcast. Like, I
Oh
stepped
yeah,
them up over the initial first lockdown. Like, I stepped them up something fierce. Like, you know what I mean? Tis
yeah,
because I was just pumping them out, and I started to do live ones then with people because they were locked down too. They were going, let's fucking have a chat. So it did scratch the itch ever so slightly, like.
Yeah, that's one thing I am missing now, is a bit of the creative output. I don't really have.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. And we were talking the other night even, and I was just thinking of things for you, like, and because you were talking about what microphone you should get and stuff like that, and like you could wreck your fucking head going around the houses. They're all grand. It just depends. Do you want to sound like, you know, you're an ad for the bank, or do you want to sound like somebody actually just normal, like, you know?
Just
so
normal, yeah.
But like, I was even thinking, I was going to ask Chris, should you do a podcast? No, isn't any of my business. Fucking no. Like, but at the same, I was thinking creatively, because that's the only thing. Because I've started writing. I got on board with a scriptwriter who's written sitcoms and stuff because but I just started writing at the basis of a sitcom.
Yeah.
Creatively, it's the most therapeutic thing I've done since standing on a stage. Like, it's unfucking believable. I was nearly crying writing earlier today. I was going, this is fucking adorable. And I was writing about the maddest cunt you could think of at the time. It was a fella I worked with, and it was on a building site. You could not. He was like the white Snoop Dogg.
Yeah.
But took way more drugs. Like, the maddest cunt. And I was just writing about him. I was loving the writing. I was telling nobody on a computer screen, but it will go somewhere and may never go anywhere. But it was the fact, creativity. But I'd love to hear, I was thinking, like, you do voiceovers of something. You doing your voice as a voiceover. You could rip things off the internet just to practice with and put them up there. Like, just rip something really serious and do Chris Kent voiceovers.
Just deadpan on it, like, or just like...
I think Chris Kent doing Chris Kent deadpan Cork. Go on.
Yeah.
Oh no, look at this cunt.
I know what you mean.
If you could rip it, then take the audio and say, can you imagine? I can imagine Chris Kent does the Eurovision, like, robs it off of what's his name, Graham Norton, or if you were doing the voiceover for, say, the last royal wedding. Do you know the way? And here we have coming up and it's Princess fucking, how's your father? Like, something like that with your voiceover would be would just be amazingly funny, like, because obviously your storytelling and your writing is incredible, but it's the fact that you never feel, listen to you're going, he doesn't feel like he has to put. That's like, because when I listen to you while I'm sitting in an audience, I'm going, I'd love to have the level of confidence that Chris has, because what happens to me is that I feel to make a thing funnier, I need to put a bit of aggression into it and then fucking put a bit of speed into it.
Yeah.
But I listen to Chris and I'm going, he's swinging with a much bigger hammer there, because if anything, you've slowed down from your natural speak.
I do, I do. Yeah. I don't know where the fuck that came from, but
because where you're from, people don't speak that slowly. Like,
no, I was always people always says I was very laid back though. Even as a child, they were like, "Geez, he's very laid back altogether." But I don't really. Yeah, I know what you mean. I don't change it up on stage at all. If I'm comfortable enough, I'm actually good at doing impressions, which my wife is always like, "You need to do impressions. You absolutely have to do impressions." Yeah, but the problem is I cannot do them if I'm asked to do them. I can do it out of the blue. I had loads of them that I could do. Like, really, I taught really well anyway. But it's mainly, sometimes it was other comics, or it was like people we know, or just taking the piss, or our family members.
Yeah.
I was good at picking up little attention to detail in what someone does with their voice, or what someone mannerism. So I was or some celebrities as well, but I just never really went there with it with stand up, like, I just kind of
I think the pleasure you would get from expanding that, because I found when I came back from, I did a one-man show, a one-man play. Yeah. I mean, the plan. Yeah, Defending the Caveman. It's a big show from America, like. Yeah.
And how did that go?
The first round was fucking amazing. Like, it was, they like, normally what they do, it's been in 40 other countries, this show, like, and they allowed me to rewrite it for an Irish audience, like.
Yeah.
And we rehearsed it for 3 weeks, fucking 15 or 16,000 fucking words. It was the most bizarre thing, like, but
wow.
did a round of about, I think we did 24 dates. Was it 24 dates in just theatres around the country? And it did grand, which is what they normally expect. They go, because the name is kind of, it's not the most inviting name, and it's but it did grand. But the plan then this time was we booked the Liberty Hall for all the weekends of September last 2020.
Wow.
And the plan was to basically publicize the living shit out of it from the producer's point of view, and then fill it all 8 nights, and then launch throughout the country. Wow. That was the plan. So the plan was to actually have, not that egotistically I don't need it, but the plan was like nearly fucking halfway up the Liberty Hall Theatre, which is there on the Quays, was to have, for the month of September and August, was to have pretty much a picture of me and my fucking name. Not that I needed that, but more so the selling of the fucking play. But it was, we went into the Laughter Lounge one night. It was a launch. It wasn't a launch. They weren't allowed to relaunch or open, but they had painted the place essentially and done it all up lovely. Yeah. And he invited comedians that were nearby to come in and have a drink. But I remember I was driving in, and it was around that time, and I was like, you bastard. You bastard.
Yeah, I know what could have been like.
But working with a very specific director on that, a guy who he's taught one woman and one man plays. He's produced or directed them everywhere. Like, he's fucking unbelievable, this guy. And working with him, he managed to pull an actor out of me that I'd done a bit on telly, but he managed to, my stage presence in stand-up completely expanded as a result of it. Wow. Completely. It was all the technical stuff that we don't learn. We learned the hard way by battering our fucking heads against shitty gigs. He was teaching me stagecraft, opening your body up at the right time, all this stuff. I'm going, this sounds like fucking martial arts or something. He goes, it fucking is. He goes, he was doing it 50 years. Like, he goes, no, this is, do you know, this kind of stuff, like, and if you want to lean into an impression, fucking time it and lean into it properly at this point and stuff, and then walk away from it, leave it soak, and come back to it again. You like all these techniques that completely rearranged my thought when it came to stand up. Like,
I mean, it's interesting. I'd love to do something like that. I think when the time frees up, I'm going to do an acting class or something.
Yes.
Just something like that for the crack. Because I've done a few acting bits as well, just one or two, and I'd absolutely love to do something like that. And yeah, with the impressions even. I remember I did do one or two on stage. I used to do a bit about Will Smith, and it was like you just said there now. The bit wasn't necessarily, it was about Will Smith's motivational videos. It was a big bit that I had, and every now and again I'd just lean into it and I'd properly try and become him, And there was I did a showcase over in England just before this thing fucking broke, actually. It was on about the 4th or 5th of March. I did a kind of a night, a kind of your agent brings loads of fucking people in to see you, and so I did a few bits, and the Will Smith bit was one of them, and then you're kind of talking to people afterwards, and one of them was a vocalist coach or whatever, or a dialect coach in a pretty big school over there. She'd worked with loads of Irish people. She'd worked with some boys in the Young Offenders, I think, and a few other things, and she came up to me. She specifically sort of picked me out and said, we were having a chat anyway, and the set went well, but she was complimentary about me leaning into the switch, because she said, if anything, it works even better because you're so deadpan, and then this thing just it's this another, like, it just comes out of nowhere, this kind of but it would just be, it was always dependent on how I was feeling, because I could get away with doing that bit by just staying in my voice the whole fucking way. There was no issue. But every now and again I would lean into it and kind of just change my voice and sort of do my impression of Will Smith, kind of. But yeah, I'd love to learn a few tricks where I can turn that on and off, and I don't have to be feeling comfortable on the night and go, fuck it, I'll do it. Because but those gigs are just,
so there's no harm in adding strings to your bow either. No. Like, you know what I mean? Especially because nobody will tell you that it is a creative art that we're doing. In fact, they won't say it's an art at all, but it fucking is. Like, you know what I mean? When you are trying to, there's no two ways about it. So you may as well, like, if you could sing, fuck it, I'd throw that in there too. Can you sing?
Oh yeah, I used to sing. I used to sing all the fucking time, man. All these fucking rah songs and all. It wouldn't go down very well now. But that was me. I was a little fucking rathead.
You were redhead. Up
I
the
was pure
red.
rathead. You know, I mean, you're young, you're a teenager, you're quite
Yeah.
susceptible to this shit. And I went to a few Wolf Tones concerts that went to my head, I think. And
Yeah.
I fucking loved it. I absolutely fucking loved it. It was the best crack of my life. Yeah, definitely. I've definitely banged out a few tunes at the table, you know, a few ballads or whatever. But I don't know. I was drunk back then, so I don't know if I was singing well, but I had the confidence to do it anyway. You know, so
just because you touched on the young offenders there, because we never got to talk about that the last time. Like, because you were a long-standing role in that. You were what's his name's father, weren't you?
Yeah, I was a long-standing role, but I wasn't really in it. Like, I was only in it fucking.
No, but you were a feature in that. You were.
Yeah, I was. I was a character. I guess. Yeah. Absolutely. And that is something that I was doing Edinburgh. When was I doing Edinburgh? That would have been 2000 and fucking. When was this now? 2000 and when was the Young Offenders first out? About 4 years ago, probably. Would it be 4 years?
It is nearly 4 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was 2016. I did a show in Edinburgh called Moving On, which was all about becoming a dad. It was one of my favorite shows, actually. And then I had tried out for the Young Offenders in the summer, but just for an extra. And I got a phone call while I was in Edinburgh. And Edinburgh, for anyone that doesn't know, is every day of August you do an hour show up in Edinburgh in a little room, and it's great crack. Like, it's fucking brilliant fun getting a show turned around. But it's stressful as well at the same time, you know. You have to sell all the tickets yourself. You can lose a lot of money. So I got the phone call in Edinburgh, and Peter Foot said, look, you know, you didn't get the part as the extra, but I think you have potential. So I think I have an even better part for you. But the guy is dead.
Oh, lovely.
Like, fucking me, that's potential, all right. I'm playing a fucking dead lad. You know, so I was like, right, I'm listening. So I work my way out of this now, and I'll be in a fucking coma and another show or something, you know. So I go, he goes, look, it's the guy's dad. You're playing the guy's dad. And I said, grand, yeah. He said, there's no speaking in it. It's a home video type of shoot. Couple of photographs as well. Would you be interested? And I said, I would. And he goes, will you come home for it? And he said, will you get the haircut as well? This fucking haircut that the lads.
What?
And
Yeah,
it's very skin tight on the sides, and it's fierce.
Some Scooby haircut, like.
Yeah, it's a rough haircut, like it is fucking rough. But I said yeah, and he said you have to do it in August though. So I was like, fuck it, I've only one day. The way Edinburgh goes, you've only one day off. Like I said, I've only one day off, man. And he was like, all right, could you come back for that? So I, halfway through the run in Edinburgh, now this time in Edinburgh, I hadn't shaved or had a haircut in, I don't know, 3 or 4 months or something. So I had a bit of a beard, I had a decent enough beard from what I can grow, you know. I had a big enough beard, long hair, and I said, yeah. So I flew home. I finished my show on whatever, just say for argument's sake, it was the Monday. I finished my show on the Monday, and I went straight to the airport. Edinburgh airport, and I actually flew to Dublin. I couldn't even get a flight to Cork. I flew to Dublin, got the air coach down to Cork, got into Cork for like 2 a.m. or something, went up to my mum's house, got picked up then by the Young Offenders crew the next morning at about 6, down to set, and they cut my hair immediately, like, and it was a very,
I imagine
very
a scene from an army movie or something.
Yeah, it was very, very.
Do you know they're just cutting there?
Fucking drastic, you know. It was a real drastic transformation. It took years. Took about fucking 10 years off me straight away. But it's real. It's bald at the sides, you know. It's skin tight, like. And they left me with a little tash, and it was funny. It was funny in fairness. But then he goes to me, we go up now and shoot the first scene, you know. And I was like, for some reason, I'd kind of misread the script, and I was like, I didn't think this was a scene in it because they'd already done this scene in the movie where they kind of killed the dad on a building site. I thought they were just going to reference it for some fucking reason. I thought they weren't going to do it. So we went up to a makeshift building site, you know, scaffolding outside the house, like, and he was like, right, so all cameras everywhere now, like, And they were like, okay, so you're going to get the fucking bring in the cement or whatever. There's another guy here. You're gonna take a cigarette off him, have a little bit of a smoke, and just kind of pretend you're chatting. We won't be filming what you're saying, but just come in and have a chat and have a smoke, like, you know. And I was like, I've never smoked in my life. Literally, I've never put a cigarette in my mouth, and I've also never acted in my life. So I was like, this is not a good idea at all. And I remember even trying it. Like, I went in and I tried it. I tried to take this fucking menthol cigarette off your man and take a drag of it, and it was just not fucking. It was just going so badly. You know, I had to pretend I was like getting hit by a hammer and falling onto the ground, and it was like cut, 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 and it's probably a very normal process, but I remember lying on the ground going, "Oh fuck, this haircut is going to be for nothing," you know. This is a waste of my fucking time. This is a fucking waste of my time. But eventually he just said, okay, the main problem was the cigarette. Like, it was like I couldn't naturally, I didn't even fucking act, and I never smoked, so I couldn't look like I naturally smoke all of a sudden. So he kind of changed it up a bit, where the guy gave me the cigarette and then I kind of got killed before I took a drag. Like, the hammer fell and it was like grand. He dealt with that. It was interesting to see how they workshop around that shit, actually. And and it was a tiring day though. I did another few scenes then, and I was mainly hanging around. But it was great to see how things work, you know. But then I flew back to Edinburgh the next day with that fucking haircut, and you know,
they wouldn't even tidy it up for you, like.
No, and people in Edinburgh were like, "Are you all right? Are you ever?" People were genuinely concerned. Are you okay? Because fucking, like, you had long hair and a beard yesterday. Did you get a bad review and fucking lose your mind or something? I was like, no, I was like, I don't read review. I don't even do reviews anymore. So I was like, I'm actually having a fucking great time. I just had a part for a show, but yeah, actually,
that's what everybody says when they lost their shit.
Yeah, I've done it since, actually. I've done the Young Offenders once since last year, actually, about a year and a half ago. And it was just for a photograph, but they gave me the haircut again, you know. A very severe blend, I suppose. But I actually went to the barbers I used to go to in St. Albans, and when I got back, and I had a cap on. Like, the next day I went into him and I was like, I had this, this is for a part. I got this fucking, they gave me this chop. Can you fix it?
Oh, you give him a spiel first.
Yeah. I was like,
before you.
And he did. In fairness, he did an amazing job. He kind of softened the blend or whatever he did, and I mean, he made it look like it wouldn't be my normal haircut, but he made it look like, all right, because I remember being so self-conscious the second time. That first time the second time I got it done, I had to go over and gig in London. I was gigging in London on the Monday night, or the Tuesday night. I was gigging in Putney. I was hosting a gig, and actually it was the weekend of Billy Anderson's funeral as well. So
yeah, right. Jesus, man.
Oh no, he just died. Did he? No, he just died, actually. Billy Anderson. So it was the weekend of the Cat Laughs, right? And Billy Anderson, our good friend, had passed away the weekend before. So I did the Cat Laughs, right? And I did a marathon on the Sunday, my first marathon in Cork on the Sunday. Then I went down to the Young Offender set again on the Monday, and they gave me this fucking mad haircut again. And then I flew into London on the Tuesday, and I went straight to a gig. I didn't even go home. I went straight to a gig with this haircut, and it was just I was so self-conscious of it. Like, you know, I kind of just explained to them, and I had a fucking great gig, actually. I think that's one thing that I love about comedy, is that people have said to me before, how the fuck do you do comedy if things are shit, you know? And that was shit. That was like, that was terrible, you know? But yeah. And I had a bit of a wobble once or twice. I remember in Kilkenny, I felt the emotions rising, you know? And if anyone that doesn't know, Billy Anderson was a great friend of ours that sadly passed away in a car crash, right?
Yeah.
But it's also, one thing I will say for it is it's an excuse, like, not to think of something, you know? It's like, you have 20 minutes here now. You're given a pass. You don't have to fucking worry about shit. You don't have to fucking, there you go. Just make the people laugh. That's your job for the next 20 minutes. I find it was kind of therapeutic, like, you know. But I don't know how I got onto that now. Sorry about that. But
no, not at all. No, that's that's exactly what this rambling podcast is all about. But that's just, there you go. That's the absolute beauty of the thing. Like, and that you can lose yourself, and the likes of Billy he would appreciate that you go lose yourself in comedy. Like, you can see why people would go do it. Just go, I need to go, you know, 'cause you see it. I suppose it's nearly like sports in a way. Like, if you could go and throw yourself into a sport as well at the same time, just to fucking lose the head, like, because it definitely it takes over everything, doesn't it? Like, that's the thing I've described. I remember going on stage, like I'm rarely sick, but I remember my stomach wasn't in Galway. My stomach was sick. I don't know what was wrong with me, but I mean, we're talking explosive all fucking day. Like, well, I don't know, can I do this gig? Sweating bullets, the whole lot. And I don't know who said it to me, but it was like, we had actually been to a photo shoot in Limerick for the Panto later on that day, that year. So the photo shoot was the big launch. It was in November, and I was gigging in Galway later on that night. And I said, sure, it'll just be a nice little tip up the way. And I remember I was fucking dying. And one of the older chaps who's in it every year, Miles, he went, "You'd be grand. You'd be grand. It's all about just stage help." Like, yeah. I said, "Oh, yeah. And you don't really believe it, but as soon as they call your name and you walk through that curtain, you literally, your two legs could be fucking broken. And for whatever period of time, I remember I was closing the show, so I was doing like 45 minutes. Not a peep. Even I talked to people afterwards, because did I look sick on stage? I went, no, the colour actually came back into your face while you were on stage. There's something weird. Your body just goes, no, none of that, carry on now. Get it fucking done.
It's a shot of adrenaline or something. I don't know what it is, but I've definitely done that before. I've definitely, at festivals like Edinburgh, where I'm like, fuck, because everyone gets sick after Edinburgh. Everyone is dying sick after Edinburgh. Even after, and it's not just Edinburgh because it's cold. I did, in January of last year, I did the Perk Fringe for a month to get the show ready for the Irish tour. And I was gigging like a fucking maniac. I was doing an hour every day. I was doing Best of Irish as well, most days, with Rory O'Hanlon. And I was doing English, Irish, Scotsman with another act. And I was doing Best of British as well. Why not? Fuck it. So I've come a long way.
I love that. Okay. Like you're kind of half explaining that to me, going, "Listen, Tom, because you went, why not now? Come on, fuck it now."
I've come a long way from my fucking teenage years of up to fucking.
Your red is.
to doing fucking Best.
You said you'd come full circle. You said you'd come full circle.
In many fucking ways, Tom. But I went. But I used to love. I used to love actually opening Best of British, and I'm clearly not British, and I would explain to them. I would say, "Hey, by the way, I'm not British. I don't know if you've noticed." And it was mainly Englishy blenders. They'd be like, "Oh," and I'm like, I'll be like, "Don't fucking look at me like that. Like, you know, have you never fucking lied to get a job?" And then they would kind of chuckle, and I'd be like, "I'm not even that bothered about this one." I said, "It's Best of Africa. I'm having problems with, you know." So. I never got a laugh. Never ever got a laugh, but I did it every single night.
Excuse me.
I don't know. It was a bit of a harder gig, and you know, the comedians loved it. They were like, "I fucking love that line," like, you know. But it never really got a laugh.
I love that line.
People just sometimes take me very literally, you know, which is a little bit.
Okay, yeah.
They go, "Is he fucking serious? Is he off to Best of Africa now? Is he actually serious?" So it takes him a while.
I found that with British audiences, sometimes they can taking whatever it is in our accent, they take us very literally. They go, "Oh, was that? Sorry," because I remember they couldn't pronounce my name one night. I was doing a gig in the Comedy Cafe, and your man couldn't say my name. And the guy that had been on previous he was Asian chap, like, and he'd, you know, Sadiq, like there was like 14 syllables in his name, like, not a bother, ran it off, no problem, like. And I walked on, I
couldn't say Mahoney.
Yeah, no. And your man was all mandem, you know, he was black and he was street black, you know, and he was off stage. It was funny. He was like, I said, "How am I saying your name correctly?" I went, "Is that who you?" I lad, get it together. So I wrote it phonetically how a British person would say it. He went, "Mahoney, ma and honey." Okay, I can get that. And he went up and he froze and he said it wrong. And I kind of shouldered him walking on. I went, "Look at this cunt. This is what you do to the Irish fucking fellow when he comes on stage." And you could see him all freeze up like they were being racist towards me. Yeah. Something in my brain went, "Go on, Tom, play it." I went, oh, this is more of the shit now, huh? The lad beforehand, 14 syllables, not a bother. You said his fucking name, no problem. Well, I tell you fucking something now. 800 years. And you could see him all clamming up like, "I'm only fucking joking, lads. Relax, it's fine." Oh, thank God for that. Oh, I was feeling very guilty.
Docherty. They say Docherty, don't they? David O'Docherty. Or
I got Matney. I got somebody stuck a T in the middle of it. Like Docherty doesn't even have a C or a K in the middle of it. Like there's no rhyme or reason to it. Like
my wife is Neve, sure, so it was just fierce trouble. But that's funny. You can't expect them to know the names, I suppose. But yeah, that's what were we talking about? That was
just a sickness after even
just
Perth
getting
that
run
time.
down, because even after Perth, it was a fucking family holiday because we all went out. Me, my wife.
Oh, lovely.
Oh, we had an absolute ball, but I was with them all day. Going to a water park or going to the beach, or we had a little pool in the house. My wife's dad was out there and doing a bit of work, and we stayed with them, and it was fucking brilliant. But I would get on the bike. I was staying about 17, 18 kilometers outside Perth, and I'd cycle in every day and cycle back after all the gigs, and do all the gigs and run around. And I could feel it, like the last week, a small bit of a scratch in my throat. I was like, oh, you're getting sick here. You're talking for an hour every day, at least, into a microphone. And I was like, you're getting sick here. And on the plane on the way back from Australia, it's about the 20th of February or something, 17th, 18th of February. So this is when COVID was kicking off, And I was coming back from Australia via Hong Kong, just for a quick stopover, but I'm not messing, right?
A bowl of soup and
Neve was like pretending not to know me, because I'm not. And when I say I got a fit of coughing, I did not stop coughing for whatever the journey is. It's 24 hours of a flight. I'd be surprised if I stopped coughing for 5 minutes. I just could not.
Oh my God!
Coughing. And I was coughing into my arm and doing the right thing, but people were just like, it was all very paranoid at that stage. It was like the fucking COVID.
Yeah.
And I was actually...
That cunt is riddled.
It was being from... Because my first couple of gigs then, I went into the Irish tour afterwards, and I was a bit croaky at them. I was a little bit... The gigs were brilliant fun, but I was a bit hoarse. Tiny, a bit of a scratchy throat, a little bit of a tickly cough, and I was joking about having COVID and the fact that they came back through Hong Kong. And, people took it in fucking jest, obviously. I had a little bit of a scratchy fucking cough, But yeah, it's funny. It's funny how your body just allows you to go, okay, he's going to be gigging again now, and it just pushes all the shit away for a while. It's mad. Because I remember we did a gig for Billy Anderson. Then remember in the Workman's gig, the Workman's Club.
It was in the Workman's Club, yeah. Yeah.
And I remember hearing about it, and I was in fucking bits, man, when I heard that he'd passed away. I got a phone call, and I was just like in bits. And I said yes to the gig like a couple of weeks later, And then I was like, it's too early. I'm not going to be able to fucking do it. Like, I'm just not in a fucking good way at all. Like, but I kind of took it anyway because we were raising money, and I was like, fuck it, I'll do it. And they were kind enough to let me close it as well and give me a small bit extra. And genuinely, it was... I just told stories about him, and it all, besides a tiny little bit in the beginning, a teeny little bit of a shudder in my voice, it went, and then it was just talking about him, and
it was like, beautiful that night, like, yeah.
The craft kind of took over or whatever, and it was it's one of my most favorite gigs I've ever done. Just talking about him and getting laughs and going, this is a fucking beautiful thing, like, So I kind of surprised myself at what you can do with stand-up, like, even those nights, like you and me, we've both had them when they're rough as fuck. And you're like, how the fuck am I going to do this, man? This is insane. But you get a good kick out of doing it then. Or, even if you die in your hole, you just get a good kick out of going, I didn't walk away, or I stood up there and did my fucking time,
Yeah. Yeah. And even if you think, well, sure, that stuff doesn't stick in your head, it builds up some sort of fucking, like a cauliflower brain, I call it. Like rugby players get a cauliflower ear, and after a while they can't feel fuck all through, but they still have an ear, you know what I mean? Just the ear never fucking feels out, never again, like. But
that's a good one.
Yeah. Oh, I'm great for analogies, like when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Brain. Yeah.
You just built up enough scar tissue where you can just about feel happiness
Maybe it's all,
sometimes.
I don't know, maybe it's all seeping in and we're going to have a fucking massive breakdown someday. An accumulation of all the gigs, all the horror shows, an accumulation of all them will just fucking, it'll just be like a dam, it'll break, and then you'll be bawling, crying somewhere. And people will be like, what the
Yeah,
fuck was that?
I wonder, have we been hiding it, or does it fall out the ear at some stage? Because myself and Jerry McBride had a podcast, and we're starting it back up again. And there was always been a segment in it called "My Worst Gig Ever."
Yeah.
And while a lot of them, these bad gigs end up sounding the same, but you're kind of going, "Oh no, wait! I actually have enough." Like we do 6 episodes, so we get 3 each in each season, and we've done 3 episodes, so that's 9 absolutely vastly different, horrendous gigs. You know what I mean? And I was listening back to him the other day just to make sure I don't tread back over old water. I was going, fuck, I don't know where that is. I'm describing that place and I fucking don't. I just went, I wiped that particular one from my brain. I hadn't fucking worked it out at all. But
you're gone there for some reason. I don't know why. Your picture is gone from me. I don't know why.
Let me just see.
Immersive online. I mean, I'm still clearly on Zoom to you, but I can't see you anymore. Some shit came up there, some stuff about.
I don't know. It still looks the exact same to me anyway.
Oh, does
what
it?
The fuck? Yeah.
I don't know. I just can't see you for some reason.
Has it switched to? Are you on speaker view or you're in gallery view?
Okay, 1 second there now.
Up in the top right hand corner. If you go to gallery view.
I can't see anything. I can just see a picture of me now in the corner and nothing else really.
You look absolutely grand. It looks the exact same.
Does it?
Yeah.
There's not even an option for me to look at anywhere else. Hang on. Show active speaker video. Okay, that would make sense. Oh, hang on. What the fuck is that?
It's definitely. You definitely found yourself in some sort of settings.
I don't know.
Did you click? Did you share a page? Go to share a page or some fucking thing? No.
No, nothing at all. I didn't touch anything. You just vanished, and that was it really. And now I'm just talking to you, but I can't see you. So it's just like a good old phone call. I can't see. I can't see your lovely long hair now, or your beard, or anything.
I know it's ridiculous. Yeah, the fucking hair is just getting out of control. But I don't know what to do at this stage. I put so much effort into it. I don't know. It's just where do we?
let it
but
go.
You're. Yeah, I'm letting it go now at this stage. I mean, there's nobody to judge me. Herself seems to like it. So it's like, so you come, as you said, you come full circle now. What's it been like? What was the first week like back in the site?
First week was terrifying, but it was absolutely fine. Absolutely fine. It was mainly the anticipation of it, to be honest. I was nervous for days and nights before it, and I didn't sleep very well the night before, and because you have a lot going on in your head. It's like I have to go back on building site. I have to try and remember, I try and remember stuff, and then it's just like getting your head around the new site in the first place is difficult. Even if you're transferred to a brand new site, it's like, oh fuck. Where's the stores, or where's this, or where's that, it's a big old site as well that I'm on, so the first week or two, I'd say, I've never had an issue there. The lads are absolutely sound, but for me, for a good couple of weeks, I'd say, I don't know when it sort of switched, but it was all encompassing. It was all I could think of was work. I was like, am I doing this right? What will I do next? And I carried that home with me. I was like, what will I do next? I'll go in now tomorrow and I'll get that ready. And then I'll finish that job, and then I'll be able to do this. And then I'll go there, and then I'll be able to do that. And I literally couldn't think of anything else but fucking my job, and trying to impress them, and trying to be like, oh lads, I'm a good worker, trust me, blah, blah, blah. And just overthinking it and over analyzing everything. And then I just started to get a bit more comfortable, and I was like, oh, fuck it, right. You actually don't need to know absolutely everything as an electrician, that other electrician, I was talking to another few sparks, and I'd see other sparks going, oh, fuck it, I haven't done that actually. Have you done them? And I'm like, all right. okay, yeah, I don't need to know absolutely fucking everything. Just work
Yeah, but
away.
do you know what you were doing? You'd been 15 years self-employed as a
I know,
creative
yeah,
stand-up comedian, trying to be the best you could absolutely be. You can't stop. Like literally, had you taken electrician out of what you were saying just there, you
yeah,
were just doing exactly what you went back to regular work mode for a stand-up. Where you're going, I have to fucking write. I have to put this down. I need to
yeah,
send fucking an invoice to this fucker. I need to do,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
that's what you were doing, like. And then you
yeah,
realized, oh wait, normal people don't think like a maniac. Fucking
yeah.
18 hours
No,
in a day like we do. Like normal,
exactly, exactly. But
normal
I
people
just
just go
switched.
to work.
Yeah, I never thought of it that way. I just switched all my focus to stand up to from stand up to that. And but the thing was, yeah, yeah, that is actually exactly what I did, I reckon. But the thing is, like, I I just started getting a bit more comfortable then, and I was like, fuck it. And
Yeah,
I started really enjoying it then. And I was like, fucking, I'm looking forward to going to work now. I'm out of work now at the moment just because of COVID, just after Christmas. We're
the site shut
delayed.
down for a couple of weeks, was it?
Yeah, we're delayed going back. We might get to go back earlier because I'm in Pfizer's pharmaceutical, like so. Um,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
I might hopefully. Do you know what I mean? And I'm like, I actually started enjoying it. But also I think I went from, however much of a struggle stand up was, right? I was extremely fucking comfortable doing it. I was extremely
Yeah.
comfortable and I backed myself in stand up. And I went from being very comfortable doing something to being like not sure and going, fucking hell, I'm 12 years out of this. I'm not sure for the first time in a very long time about my actual fucking job. Uh, so it was a combination of a few things like that, I reckon. But like I
Yeah,
said,
but
now,
your identity, like I said, your identity was a stand-up comedian and you were a headliner and you did your own show. You just sold the fucking everyman out, like, you know what I mean? And you were lining up to do it again. And now all of a sudden the rug is pulled and they're going, no, you'd go back and be a Dubai on site again, like,
yeah, yeah, and the boys on site couldn't give a fuck. They really couldn't
Yeah.
in the nicest possible way. I mean, it was when I was looking for work initially, I was in a serious panic mode. I was living with my parents again, with my kids, and all in the one fucking room, and I was going. And obviously, we're very grateful that that was there, and that didn't actually bother me that much. Moving back in my parents, I got more crack out of that and more material out of that. I was like, this is fucking brilliant, but in the back of your mind, in the back of my mind anyway, comedy didn't look like it was coming back. And for a period of time there, I arrived back in August, did the quarantine thing in Galway. We had a house in Galway that we stayed in for 2 weeks, went down to my parents, and I had been looking for a job for probably a couple of months at that stage. And I was starting to lose a little bit of faith, to be honest. I was going, fuck, I'm not going to get a job. This is hard. And estate agents wouldn't fucking look at us. I was living in my mum's house. I was like, stand up doesn't look like it's coming back. I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
There's a gap on my CV, my electrical CV, of over a decade where I didn't pick up a tool. And I was like, I just started losing faith about that. And basically, um, it just kind of it happened. It happened in the end. I went, fuck it. I got in there at my old employer, and I've never been so grateful. Like, they were brilliant. They were really good to give me a chance again, and yeah, I was delighted. But there was that initial, and of course, when you're trying to get back into the electrical game, I had to buy a few tools again. I had most of my tools, but I had to buy a few tools. I had to do my safe pass. I had to do my manual handling again. So there was all these outgoings at the same time. And I was fucking
Yeah.
moving things around. I was going, fucking hell, this is a fucking disaster. And even my safe pass, actually, I turned up at the safe pass class. And your man, I turned up at the safe pass class, and there's a fella taking names. And as I walked up to the door, he was like, Chris Kent, and I was like, yeah. How do you know? And he was like, oh, I seen you. I've seen you. I've seen your gigs. I've seen your comedy. And he was like, I was like, oh, great, oh, brilliant. And he asked me for a selfie after the class and everything. And I haven't,
Stop. Beautiful.
I haven't been asked for many selfies, but I was like, this is fucking, what? It just felt like the death of stand up. And now this is like the saddest selfie in the world, you know? Here I am, like, doing my fucking safe pass, desperately trying to get back to work, and I'm doing a selfie with someone. But both sad and happy at the same time, I suppose. But yeah, fuck
Yeah,
it.
but like any good comedian, you'll find material in all of it anyway. Like, you know what I mean?
100%, 100%. But the thing is, with the material, then I've nowhere to go because I'm writing a bit at the moment. But I was in the middle of a show, like the show just clicked in the middle of Australia, like it had just clicked. It was just like I just finished my whatever I was saying there. It was like my seventh show of my fourth tour or whatever, and I just clicked, and I was just really starting to enjoy it actually. Um, so I'm going to pick it back up whenever things come back. I was halfway through my tour. I still had to do the Everyman. I still had to do Vicar Street. I'm going to finish out Christy Doesn't Live Here. It might be slightly different, but I was quite happy with the show the way it was, you know. So I'm gonna
Yeah,
fucking pick it
yeah,
back
yeah.
up, and then everything else after that will be whatever I'm writing now, like you know, it'll be kind of added on.
And Chris, and your current what show is up on the RT player then at the minute? That's last year's one, isn't it?
Yeah, that is Looking Up in the Everyman, live at the
Looking up,
Everyman.
yeah.
And I just have to explain to people that I have no control whatsoever. I cannot solve any glitches with the RTE player. So there's absolutely no fucking point in contacting me if you have a problem with the RTE
I
player.
love that.
Like, are
I
you
love that.
fucking for real, man? I'm trying to watch your special here, man, and it's like, like, who the fuck do you think I am? Like, do you? Who the fuck?
What?
Who the fuck am I?
I know I'm
like,
an electrician, but Jesus, I can't.
yeah,
I can't.
come on, like, Jesus Christ, man. I know it's, and you know what? I've had people really good feedback about it. People really enjoyed it. It was probably one of my favorite gigs I've ever done. It was in the Everyman last year, and I'd sold out the Everyman for the first time, and it was that Looking Up show. And the previous show to that, then, if you really don't know about me, is I just put it on my YouTube channel for free as well. So you can
Brilliant.
watch that, and that's called Moving On. That's just a completely different. I wanted to do two completely different gigs, so that one is recorded in the smallest, tiniest room in Cork. It was actually after the Everyman sold out. I went back and said I want to re-record because I tried recording the other one the year previous and it didn't really work out because of camera positions and a few other things, you know. So I had to go back and record a previous show after the Everyman one, and I just wanted it to do a completely different fucking vibe. So I did it in a very small room in Cork called Collins, which is a lovely,
Oh,
lovely.
lovely. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, it's a fucking smashing room. I did a preview there last year sometime. A preview of Christy Doesn't Live Here. It wasn't even called that then. It was just basically like a load of new bits. And I was just like, this room is fucking brilliant. This is amazing. It's a nice small intimate room, and I thought for the show that I had, you know, the previous show was kind of they're all storytelling shows, but it was a more of an intimate storytelling show, and I said it'd be lovely to have two completely different specials, like one in a nice big theater and one in a tiny little fucking room with 50 people or whatever, like 40 or 50 people, you know. So yeah,
but I'll stick the two of them down in the show notes as well, so people can actually just click through. And my advice to anybody for the RT player, the only thing it works on is in the house here is our phones. It falls asunder. It plays fine. So if you have a tablet or a phone, it'll play fine. For some reason on a laptop, it goes to fucking shit. I don't know what it is. Like, it just falls asunder. Like,
throw it on your phone, so and cast it onto the telly or whatever. Do whatever.
Exactly. Or just send a complaint to Chris. You know, just
I can't be fucking dealing with enough on my plate now that I'm trying to fix your fucking RT player. Are you fucking mad in the head or something? But get onto RTE. Get onto RTE. That would be a good idea. Get onto fucking RTE, the people who own this player, and say, you know, sort out the issue and all that shit. But fucking hell. And hopefully I get to record more, because that was the plan. I was about to record Chrissy Doesn't Live Here in the Everyman as well, you know. That was meant to be, that was the plan. For sure, we all had plans, you know. I wanted to record that, and then also I wanted to record my previous couple of shows as well. I had plans to go and just re-record all them as well, but you know, I think I really hope that we can do it again. Like, I know we will, but I look
No, we
forward.
will. There's talking with theatre folk. There's far too many people out of work that they won't fucking start fucking putting us all in human-sized condoms or something. Whatever it takes to get people back into
Whatever it
theatres,
fucking
it's going to
takes.
happen. Like, whatever
Absolutely.
it takes. But
Absolutely,
Chris,
and I look forward to it, man. It'd be great to do it. Have a real chat with you in
yeah,
play.
exactly.
You know,
exactly. Chris Kent, this has been outstanding. Thank you very, very much, brother.
Tom, you're a gent, and look after yourself and your family. It was great talking to you. And
You too, bye.
cheers. Thanks for having me, bye.